it's the Mad Queen. Welcome to the Queen's Lair. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the Time Travelers. This is a new faction that's been added within the game. You know, we've had Turan, Atlas, and Winfer. I'm super excited because with them adding with them adding a new faction into the game, it adds a little bit more density to the game. So some new challenges, especially when it comes to PvP. Every time new heroes come out, it makes a pretty big impact on PvP, in my opinion. And it's nice to have so many options because then it means that there are a lot of options for PvP where of course, there are definitely going to be some groups or combinations of heroes that are going to be better than others, but it's nice to have a lot of options overall. In this video, I am going to be going over Moto specifically. If you want to see any information about these other guys, then look out for my other videos going over them. I actually already recorded this video and I planned on going over all of these guys, but there's just so much to talk about that the video ended up being way too long, and so I had to cut it down to just this one hero. So for Motoko, at level 240 base stat, all of my heroes are at level 240. So, you know, if your heroes are only 100 or 200 or whatever, it's going to be different. This is just going to be their max when they reach level 240. So, her health is 329,000, attack is 17,000, and defense is 2,700. Honestly, I would say that these stats are pretty good for the most part. Definitely her attack and her health, I think are pretty good. And her defense really isn't bad either. So this isn't nearly as important, but I do want to take a look at her visuals real quick. I think she looks awesome. Here, let's go ahead and go back and so she can do her, you know, her entrance, her animation. I think she looks really cool. I think they've done a really nice job, and this game does honestly a really, really good job on, you know, the animations of their heroes, how they look, their aesthetic, and that is one thing I enjoy about these games for sure. But I think she looks really cool. When we look down here, you know, we can get a lot of information on this screen about this hero. That's actually one thing I really, really, really like about this game is they have done a lot of work in decoding this hero for you. So most of the information you need to know, you can find on the hero's main screen here, which is super, super, super convenient. And it makes it easy for newer players who aren't very familiar with this game, or maybe even people that are new in general to these RPG turn-based style mobile games. But when we look down here, I really love, firstly, that she is an assassin. So assassins are honestly few and far in between. We don't have too many of them. So I like that she is an assassin. What's interesting to me, though, so most of our assassins have swords, right? And they are doing their damage in the space of their enemy, so they have to be right up next to the enemy. But she has guns, and I think that's a really cool take on assassins because, of course, you know, assassins can also be like snipers or whatever the case may be. But I think also her aesthetic is really neat. I like that. But when we take a look down here, we can also find out that without reading her skills, that she does AoE damage. So she is going to be a hero that does damage, but she's going to be able to do damage to more than one enemy at a time, which is super nice. And it looks like here, she's going to be using crit to do most of her damage as well. Looking at her strategy, I'm not going to go through every single one of these, and I will say that all of this should be pretty accurate for the most part, but like I had mentioned before, I wouldn't say it's 100% accurate. I would say probably about 85 to 90% because she is new, and I'm sure we will see a bunch of changes and a lot of different ways that she can be used and built as we, kind of learn how to play with her, as we go. So it's recommending here that we have her in the middle. So she's going to be in the middle, which I just said. But her core stats, we're looking for attack and crit damage. Her set recommendations are Marauder, so that's going to give her crit rate. And after each displacement, critical damage is increasing by 80% and has 20% life steal, which lasts for 5 seconds. Overload, which gives extra crit damage, and Hero, which gives extra attack percentage. As we go down, you can see that they have the hero recommendations for their commanders. So we have Hagridon, because she is a displacement hero, and Gabble, which is an assassin hero commander. And then as we go down, you can see her divine prototype recommendations as well. Recommended heroes, they have her with other assassins. I will say this strategy page is one of my least favorite ones that they have here. It definitely could be more detailed for sure. I think they do a really good job with the recommended equipment page overall, but as you go down through here, it's not necessarily as good. I do like this available modes, but again, like, it's just showing you her plus this assassin and her plus this assassin. I would really like to see a team, when it comes to team recommendation, it's more than just her plus one other person here, or, for whoever the hero is. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at some other information. She is a balanced hero. There are 2 options when it comes to their trait. They can be either balanced or rage. So for balanced, heroes use energy to cast their ultimate. We have more balanced heroes in the game than we do rage, by far. But also, balanced heroes will recover energy every time they launch an attack, kill an enemy, or lose health in battle. The more health that they lose, the faster their energy will recover. And this information is good as well whenever you're trying to figure out what sets to put on them. So I know that it's recommending these 3 sets, but obviously, there are a lot of build options that you can use. It's just really going to depend on where at you're trying to use this hero and what you're using them for. But so because she is a balanced hero, and she's using energy, something you could take a look at, and I'm not saying this is just an example, so it would be like a gluttony set, because it gives you plus 200% energy, whereas if this was a rage hero, you wouldn't use a gluttony set. So that's just an example. Let's go ahead and take a look at her skills. I'll just read through these. So, her ultimate, Gun Fu Extermination. She teleports behind the target, so just like a normal assassin, and performs Bullet Axle 3 times. It deals damage equal to 450% of her attack to up to 3 targets at a time, which is super nice. So, not only is she an assassin, but she also is a displacement hero. And she's also able to deal damage to multiple heroes at the same time. So that to me is a really big deal because she is doing, or she's doing so many different things. And she will targets with the lowest amount of HP. Okay, so enemies that have the lowest health are who she's going to target first, which is kind of nice because, sometimes there are, specific heroes in the game where they, they're just super annoying. They'll get down to a super low health, and then right before you can finish them off, because, the AI, not the AI, but the algorithms and everything is not perfect in the game, with when you have it on automatic where they should be targeting and who and when. So it can be really annoying because you really need to kill this hero that's got a super low health, but you're not exactly targeting them, and then they come back and just do an insane amount of damage to your team. And I'm talking about PvP specifically, with that instance that I just mentioned. But during Bullet Axle, she is immune to crowd control effects. See, that's also really big, really really big. Um, and then of course, level 2 and 3 just ups her damage. Her bonus effects. Her talent effect. If it hits one target, the current damage of the shot is increased by 180. If it hits one target, I think they're going to have to update or change the wording a bit on this one. So basically, if it hits, to me, whenever it reads like that, it sounds like accuracy. Like there's a potential for her not to be able to hit. Um, so it could either mean that, or basically, whenever she hits a target, um, she's going to do extra damage by 180%. Exclusive effects. Her ultimate skill enhancement targets those whose health is above 50%. Oh, targets whose HP is above 50%. Okay, receive 50% increased damage. So the higher amount of health they have, the more damage she's going to do to them. So that's interesting because she's going to target the heroes that have the least amount of health first, but when she does target heroes that have more than half of their health, she's going to do an increased 50% damage, which is really big because this could be used against like tankier targets. So next, her common is Gun Fu Speed. It says she charges towards the farthest enemy within 8 meters. Again, reads like another assassin. Dealing damage equal to 400% of her attack to targets along the way. And this just increases as it gets leveled up. Bonus effect, her talent, if the target's health is below 50%, the target will be stunned for 2 seconds. Okay, that's also pretty big. But again, I would assume you would need accuracy for that to happen. It doesn't read like that though. It just says the requirements are if that target's health is below 50%, then this will happen. Of course, once I play with her more and test her, that's something I'll be able to have a definite answer on. But right now, I'm just not entirely sure. Exclusive effects. Gun Fu Speed Enhancement. When the skill is activated, instantly refreshes the cooldown of Gun Fu Pirouette, which is maybe the next one. Yes. Honestly, it seems like she's going to be crazy good, and I've only read half of her abilities. But her pirouette, Motoko launches a nearby launches a nearby target with the least health into the air and fires at the target 4 times, with each shot dealing damage equal to 100%, 160% of her attack, which just goes up as you level. Her talent effect, this skill has 15% lifesteal. That's nice. And her exclusive effects, Gunfu Pirouette Enhancement. When casting the skill, she steals up to 200 energy from the target. If the target has less than 200 energy, then the current damage from the skill will be increased by 50%. And lastly, her passive, Combat Cyborg. Um, Motoko's Cyborg allows her to quickly find enemy weak spots, has a 100% crit chance by default, but crit damage is reduced by 25%. Excess crit chance is converted into crit damage. Each time an enemy activates an ultimate skill, she gains a shield equal to 1,000% of her attack. And her energy recovery is increased by 40% in the Soul Incursion collab event. Okay, so that's literally only in the event that's going on now. This won't matter after, this month is over. Talent effect, while having a shield, her crit damage increases by 50%. Oh, and exclusive. In PvP modes, for each public security Section 9 hero in the lineup, the damage and maximum HP of all allied public security Section 9 heroes will be increased by 5%. That's not huge, but that's not bad either. This hero does so many things. So many different things. She's able to teleport. She's able to give herself a shield. She's able to stun. She's not targeted by control effects. She 100% crit chance by default with her passive, which means you wouldn't have to build crit rate into her. But as it says here, crit damage is reduced by 25%, but extra crit chance is converted into crit damage. So really, any crit rate that you put into her would, for the most part, just be converted into crit damage. So I think that she's going to be really good. I have used her a little bit in the event that's going on specifically right now. But and she has done really well. So as far as my recommended build for her, let me go out of my gallery. I did have a build on her and I unequipped it all. You can see where I have her exclusives. I've done all the purple ones. I've done any yellow. I've gone as far as I can with her talent. But for her build, and you can see here it's saying, it's got the fire symbol. These are the two that you want to focus on the most. I wouldn't focus on putting any crit rate into her, but if you do get a little bit, honestly, around, I would say 10-15%, that would be a good medium to help cover that passive ability, because it's like it said in her passive, a bit of that is going to be decreased by 25%. So building her out, I'm curious what they do here if I just do equip all. So it looks like they have what, 2 hero sets and an overload set. So 2 that are increasing attack and 1 that is increasing crit damage. Of course, this isn't upgraded. Oh, I don't know why that's there. Crit damage. Attack. So we're going to replace this. Filter. Attack percent. Confirm. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and forge it. So, prioritizing her stats, I would like having this 112% crit damage is nice, but I would try to prioritize her attack more so than her crit damage because she gets a lot of other things from her attack, like her shield. So she's going to get a shield that's going to be based off of her attack, but also when she's under that shield, she is going to get extra benefits from attack as well. So I would 100% focus on going into attack. And I'm not going to sit here and min-max this build right now. But I would definitely recommend as a beginner's build or mid-game build, if you just kind of want to throw her in quickly, I would do all hero set. And you should definitely get some good results out of her for sure. And let me see about observe. It's not going to do what I thought it was going to do. I was going to go ahead and try to go over all of these heroes in one video, but I don't think that's going to happen because I'm already pushing it with this video. If you guys have any other questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to add, recommendations, please leave that in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, have a conversation, and look out for a video for each of these guys specifically instead of one video over all of them. I wish I could have done that, but I went a little too in depth. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. This video was brought to you in collaboration with Eternal Evolution. Download the game for free now in the iOS or Google Play Store. You can also use my personal game download code in the video description to show some support. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.